Hello everyone, welcome back to Abdo channel. In today's video, we will talk about what is the structure of JWT token. Okay, in the last video, we understood that JSON Web Token contains the encrypted user information, right? So, if you look at the structure of the JWT, it is not only containing the encrypted user information, but it also contains some additional information. So, this is the encrypted JWT. Okay, if you look at this, this is having three parts separated by periods. The first part is called as header, and the middle one is called as payload, and the last part is called as signature. Okay, so the payload is actually the use contains the base64 encoded part of the user information. Okay, let's look at the details what the different parts of the JSON Web Token contains. So header contains the type of algorithm that is being used to generate the signature. Okay, let me show you this website where the jwt.io. This is giving us some encoded sample JSON web token, and it is giving the decoded version of that JSON web token. Okay, if you look at this for this JWT, and these are the three parts. Okay, this is the header and the payload and the verify signature. Okay, so header contains the algorithm and the type of the token that we are going to generate. Algorithm is this is the algorithm that will be used in while generating the signature for this web token JWT. Okay, so that is what is mentioned in the header. Payload contains the user information. Like here, they have given some kind of information, right? Subject, name, IIT, right? Suppose if I want to modify this to have only the admin one as the username, then it will be then the JSON Web Token is completely changed now. So if the JSON Web Token is having header and payload. That's what we have discussed till now, right? The other part is signature. If you look at the signature part, it's basically applying the HMAC SHA-256 algorithm. Okay, on what all data? This is the data encode base64 encode of header. This will be encoded. The header will be encoded by base64 technique, and payload will also be encoded by base64 technique. And we have to give the password. Okay, some custom password we have to give. So for this algorithm, we have to mention the data that we have to encrypt, and also the secret which will act as a key for that encryption algorithm. Okay, so based on these things, the signature will be generated. Okay, suppose if I mention the secret key as appdev security. If you look at that, see this is completely changed now. Okay, so if I modify this to appdev security only, this is completely changed now. So it is applying that algorithm by encoding the payload and the header, and also based on the key, it is applying that SHA-256 algorithm. Okay, so that's what header contains the algorithm that we are going to use in the signature, and the type of token. For now only the JWT, we can have it any other token in the future. And the payload contains the data that we have to send it to client. Okay, and the encoded version, that encode base64 encoding of header, payload, all those things will be given to the 256 for verifying, for generating the signature, because we are giving the user information from client to server, from server to client, and we are going to accept the same information from client to server, right? So as and when you are giving some information to any other parties, we have to sign it, because if the other parties are coming up with some information in future, you have to verify the integrity of that data based on your signature only, so that we will try to know whether the data that we had given initially to those parties is altered or malformed, or any other users data coming up. That's what the signature, the main purpose of signing this particular data and giving it as a JSON web token. Okay, so that's what we have discussed. Header contains the algorithm and the token that is being generated, type of token. Payload contains the data, that is also will be base64 encoded. Signature contains the base64 encoded header dot base64 encoded payload. All these things will be given along with the secret key to the signature. Okay, suppose suppose if someone sends a different payload. Say for example, I have sent from server to client as username as admin1. Client has accepted it, and the client is going to send the username, because this is the this header and the payload are the just the base64 encoded, right? So some anyone can take up this string and decode it by using any online tool and try to, and they will know the username and the algorithm that is used. Okay, they can send the information. They can suppose they can send the username as admin2 also here. Okay, but what is the what is the validation that is going to happen in the server side? Even if the user different username is coming up, even if the illegal user is trying to access your microservice, then that kind of validation is going to happen in the server side. What is the validation that is happening in the server side is the this JSON web token is generated from the server, right? And it will be sent the malformed. Say for example, instead of 9, someone has modified the username as admin1, and it has generated some blah 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 payload, and user client has sent that JSON web token to the server in the next request to see the profile details. So server, what it will do, it will truncate the, or it will take out the header and payload from the whole JSON web token and try to generate the signature for only header and payload section, and compares it with the signature that is coming up in the response, that is coming up in the request. If at all they are matching, then only it will be allowed to authorize the request, that particular request. So the end users may not be able to modify this one, the signature part. They can modify the payload part or the header part, but not the signature part, because the signature is being generated and that will be based on a key, and that will be known only to the server. What is this key? That no one knows apart from the server. That's why even if the other user or the malformed information is coming up, server has a check to generate the signature by combining header and payload only, and compares the generated signature with the signature that it has received from the client in that particular malicious request. So it finds that request is a malicious, and it won't authorize the request. Okay, so that's how the authorization technique work based on the JWT token. Okay, if you look at this one, this is a detailed diagram that explains what it is going to happen. So login, the user tries to log in on user authentication. Upon successful authentication, token will be generated and that JWT will be given to the client. So when user wants to see the profile detail or order history, they have to send that JWT in the request. They have to store it somewhere after the authentication call response and send it to the server. Okay, once the server received it, token validation for the signature matching will happen, and also the token expiry validation happen. All those things will happen. Once all those validation, authorization validations are passed successfully, then only the user will be able to see that particular resource response, like whatever it is, profile or order history or whatever it is. So on the token validation for signature matching, this is how it works. As we explained earlier, right? It is going, the server is going to take the token is having all these three parts, right? Header, payload, and signature. So it takes only the header and payload and generates a signature for it, and it compares whether it is same as signature or not. If it is finds matching, then only it authorizes the request, otherwise it throws an error. Okay, this also we will see with an example. Okay, that's all about the JSON web token structure and how it is used, um, how we can generate it during the authentication call, and how it can be used for authorizing your microservices. That we have seen it in a theoretical part. Now we will see it with an example of securing microservices in the next video. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. Please give it a like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.